Hey everybody, welcome back to our winter car series. Today we're going to talk about Oldsmobile, a brand that's super near and dear to my heart, man. Growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, I was the youngest out of all my friends, and all of us had a Cutlass as our first car. You know, when I think about that brand, the Cutlass was the best-selling car in America, and they were everywhere. I fell in love with that brand kind of looking at the junkyards as a kid, and I love that iconic Oldsmobile hood ornament, that globe from the 50s that looks amazing. But then you got into the late 60s and 70s, and they were such cool cars. Cars like the 442s, the Cutlass, the Rally 350, which I absolutely love. And then you get into the 80s, and you have a couple of really cool models, specifically the 83, 84 Hurst, which we saw both of this year, and they'll both be in this video. And then the later 442s, before everything kind of changed more to front drive, and they lost a lot of what made Oldsmobile cool. Kind of the last gasp of coolness for Oldsmobile was that Shelby Series 1, which used the Oldsmobile V8 motor. I haven't seen one of those this year. And then Oldsmobile obviously, died out with GM in the 2000s. But man, what a brand. It is so cool. And the Oldsmobile people are so passionate. They love their stuff. So I'm happy to share this one with you. If you haven't done it so far, please hit that like and subscribe. All right, how do you take an 84 Cutlass F-body and make it the coolest car of the 1980s? You put an awesome shifter into this. And I've talked about these cars a couple of times, but this is a 1984 Hurst silver with the black on the bottom. This car was made for 2 years. 83 would have been reversed with the black on the top and the silver on the bottom. And the 83 would have had the 15th anniversary Hurst badge on it. This came with the standard Cutlass wheels, but it had the red line stripe T-tops. But the thing that made this car so cool for the 80s was not the 307, but it was the lightning rod shifters. These were a drag strip style transmission in a basic car with 180 horsepower, and it's the coolest thing ever. This one's great. We've shot it at a few shows, but I figured I'd give you a little quick short on it. One of the coolest cars in the 80s because of that awesome shifter that came from Hurst, and that's what made these cars special on the Hurst Olds. It made them valuable. These are going for like $30,000, $40,000 now. Very cool car. All right, let's talk about this gorgeous 67 Cutlass. Same front end you'd have. Now 68, that front end would carry over. It would be rounded a little bit more, but those same four headlights with a little bit of space in between. These are a little more rare. I love the yellow. Oldsmobile always did an awesome job of color matching the wheels to the car. So these guys do a great job. And again, really cool interior. You can see they've got some cool stuff in here. Bench seat, automatic. So this would have been a pretty basic version of the Cutlass at the time. So this would have been really kind of the entry-level model. So you can see nothing crazy, no crazy gauges, but this is what you'd have. But really great looking car, gray interior, yellow exterior, a little bit of, the brown or beige on the dash, super simple radio, automatic transmission. This is most likely a 350, turbo 350 car. I don't know if it says the motor in there. That's probably what's in there. That's what usually was in these cars. So really cool looking 67 Cutlass, but what really makes this one pop is the yellow. All right, next car we're gonna shoot is this great looking Cutlass 442 in orange with the, obviously the Oldsmobile wheels, typically the 455 in these. I didn't even see what was in the interior, if it was an automatic or not, or a manual. This one is an automatic with the Hurst shifter, black vinyl interior. Love the wing on the back. The reason I know you're all probably sick and tired of me talking about Torenados and Eldorados, but I don't care. I haven't seen this one before. 66 in the white with the red. The body style is great on this. Love the wheels. Big V8, front drive, super comfy. Love the style. Ridiculously long two-door car, right? Unnecessarily, but you look inside, all the space in the world to fit 5 or 6 people in. And then just a really good looking fastback style on the back of it that tapers into this beautiful rear end on this car. So again, while you're all probably sick of me talking about these cars, I'm never gonna stop because I love them. And let's go take a look at the dash on this and the steering wheel. This thing is really nice. This is a really clean car, very pretty. And again, just a really nice looking cruiser, something you could have some fun in, but this car was great and it was so far ahead of its time. I dig them. I think they're awesome, and continue to give the loves to the, the Eldorados and the Torenados. I will, and I've just, until I get one, I'm going to keep talking about them. So sorry, you got to listen to me, but I'm not going to change. I just think they're great cars. All right, guys, 71 442 W30, red fender wells, 455, 4-speed, 342 rear end. Got a chance to talk to the owners. They've owned the car for like 28 years. I may have shot this at another show, but it really popped. I'm sorry the clouds are out right now because this is a green and it's a beautiful green. It's a jade color from GM with a white interior. Absolutely beautiful. But again, you go through and take a look and you see that. And the first thing I've always told you guys, if you're looking for a 442 W30, look for the red fender wells. We've got everything else in here, you know, obviously the blue on the motor, the right air filter, the right air cleaner setup, just a really cool, good looking car. And again, great car in this color and style. You all have heard me talk about my love for the Eldorado a ton of times. This is the sister car, the Toronado, front drive, that platform. I love this car too. I think the Eldorado's a little better looking from these years, but this is an awesome looking car. Had a big V8 front wheel drive. I love the hubcaps on this car. I think the front end looks awesome, kind of retro futuristic, but looked great at the time. Fastback style. The rear end on these might be a little nicer looking than the Eldorado. I think the front end of the Eldorado's a little better, so I like both of these. But this is a cool car, and like I said, you've heard me talk about the Eldorado a few times. The Toronado doesn't get the same love, but this was a game changer for GM, right? You see in the car, no transmission tunnel. So you could sit 6 people in a car like this, which is absolutely incredible. And it was a great driver, better in the snow up in the Northeast. So there's a lot of benefits to this car, and you see a lot of that translation over here over the years into some of these, you know, from front drive, rear drive to front drive, and this is a lot of that's coming in place. All right, we have a pretty great opportunity here to share 2 442 convertibles. We have one W30 model and one standard model, and there's a couple of differences on these cars people will ask. You know, one of the most common things you'll see when you look at a 442, and it gets cloned very often, is they'll have the red inner fender wells. Now, the blue one does, it is a W30 car. The black one is not a W30 car. So there's a couple other differences on the W30 versus the non-W30. So we'll kind of walk through the outside. Aesthetically, there's not a big difference on the outside of the car. Similar hoods. The inside's basically the same. This one is a manual in black. This is a beautiful car. When you get into the W30 model from factory, the W30 would have a little bit of an upgraded suspension. They would go into the red fender wells, which was them kind of working on this whole setup to try to be lighter. So what they would do is give it this unique kind of cool style. And you can see in here, this one does have the red fender wells. This is the W30 style. It would have the factory ram air, better suspension, and then the red fender well. So here's kind of a cool version where you can actually see back and forth 2 convertible 442s, which you don't see all that often. And again, you have a version in black with the standard version, and then the blue with the W30, both really sharp. This is the first version of that, 307. I love the wheels on us. This is the black with the silver on the bottom. We reverse it in 84. We've shot a bunch of 84s recently. I don't see a lot of the 83s. The 83, obviously the reverse paint difference, but you also have the 15th anniversary badging. This is a 307, so like 170 horse. Again, the lightning rod shifters, which we've talked about a bunch of times, which is so cool. This one is such a cool style. I hope everybody enjoyed those beautiful Oldsmobiles we saw today, especially some of those great 442s and those 2 amazing Hurst Olds we saw. We can't wait to get out and see all of you again. To any of the people that have the Hurst Olds, if you feel comfortable, I have never had a chance to drive one of the lightning rod shifters, and I would love to shoot a video more in depth about your car and get a chance to drive it if you're comfortable letting me do it. I completely get it. It's a classic car. I would not be disrespectful, but if someone would be good enough to let me do it, I would love to shoot a video next season around your cool car and getting a chance to drive that transmission and have you share more about your car with me. Appreciate all of you for checking us out. Please hit that like and subscribe, and I can't wait till we get to the better weather and I can see everybody again. Thanks.